Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I hope you are all doing well with your family members and you are safe and sound. Okay, dear students, welcome back to the second part of you can say that academic report writing, common types of academic documents. So in previous class we studied report and report. We discussed about the parts of report, the format of the report, and we also talked about essay. So and you know how the essay is written, how essay is different than report. We discussed this in previous class. So then we talked about the pattern of the short essays and longer essays, and then we talked about the main body, which has literature review, case study, discussions, conclusion, reference, and appendices. So we talked about introduction paragraph in details in previous class, and then all the stuff. So I hope you guys clearly understood. In case you didn't, so you can put your question forward till I'll reach out to your question and get your question answered. So the students, let's move on to the other type, other document, academic document. One of the other academic documents is paper. So let's get started. Today we'll be looking at the paper or research paper. So what's research paper? Oh, sorry. So what's research paper and how do we define paper? We will study this today inshallah, and watch the video till the end. I'm sure you'll get a lot about it. So, okay. So the paper, the most common type of writing work with a title given by a teacher, or normally from 1,000 to 5,000 words. So what's a paper? It's a common type of writing work. What's a paper? It's a common type of writing words, normally from from 1,000 to 5,000 words are there. So an expanded essay that represents your own interpretation or evaluation or argument. Remember, the students, here are three things mentioned. Inshallah, we'll say this: evaluation and argument. An expanded essay. What's research paper or research? It's an expanded essay that presents our interpretation. Interpretation means what we have got from the point, what's our own point of view, and evaluation, how we evaluated the topic, how we evaluated the things that are happening around us, or the thing that we have chosen, or the topic that we have chosen. Or the arguments, like there are questions and we argue about them. It means we give them convincing, rational, and logical reasons in our essay, so that it can support our paper. So often research paper is required in workshops, seminars, and conferences. For example, you have researched about something and you are going to give a workshop on those things, or you will give seminars about the thing that you have researched, or you talk about the research you have conducted in conferences, so on. So dear students, we say that research paper is a common form of academic writing. So research paper required students and academics to locate information about a topic, that is to conduct research, take a stand on the topic, and provide support or evidence for the position in an organized report. So we say that the term research paper may also refer to a scholarly article that contains the results of original research or an evaluation of the research conducted by others. So most scholarly articles must undergo process peer review before they can be accepted for publications in academic journal. So we can also say that a research paper is an essay in which you explain what you have learned after exploring your topic in depth. So in research paper, you include information from sources such as books, articles, interviews, and internet sites. You can also use your own ideas, knowledge, and opinions, like your personal experience you have regarding that topic. Most of your paper, must be in your own words. So the research paper should be in your own words. So we say that a research paper can take either an argumentative or an analytical approach. We will come to this, but remember one thing I have to mention here, that main ideas of the research, your paper should focus on a central issue that interests you. Like limit your topic so that you can cover in a paper of assigned length. Organize the paper around the points that are most important in your opinion. Like state your main idea in your own words and use information from your sources to support them. With this, like there we can use paraphrasing, summarizing, quotations, documentations. All these are much required in research paper research. Dear students, let's move on to the second one. A research paper can take either an argumentative or analytical approach on an issue and use logical arguments and sources information as evidence to support its point. Now, there are two things to be explained. The first thing we have is actually the argumentative. Let me underline this. And analytical approach. Now, the students, what is the difference between argumentative and analytical approach? So we say most often that the research are based on these two things. It can be argumentative or analytical approach. So where we can, like in argumentative, the key difference between these two types, which is one is argumentative and the other is analytical. So argumentative research paper demonstrates an attempt to convince your audience of a particular view you have on a subject. You give your audience convincing, rational, and logical reasons, or you give evidence so that this make the reader accept your point of view, while the research paper of analytical type is an effort to make use of your research to provide an objective picture of what information is known about the subject. So the common point in both research paper types is that you are required to conduct a complete research of a trustworthy and credible sources, or we can say reliable sources, credible sources. So the students, in simple words, I will repeat this, that in argumentative we just have a couple of questions and we answer those questions by giving convincing, rational, and acceptable reasons. But in analytical, we just study that and we get information, we analyze the topic, we have just a critical analysis here, and after that we just come to we provide an objective picture of what information is known in analytical. We analyze, in simple words, we analyze the topic here. So writing a research paper involves a significant amount of independent research and synthesizing. Remember, the students, that the paper should be independent. I mean, your research paper, suppose you are conducting a research paper, it should be independent. It should not be dependent to anybody. It should not be dependent to someone's personal favor. It should be independent from any pressure. The pressure can be economical pressure. The pressure can be political pressure. So it should be independent from any sources, any source of pressure, or any types of favorism or favoritism. So you don't have to favor one thing or unfavor the other thing. No, you have to be neutral. You have to be impartial while you are conducting a research paper. So and when you are synthesizing, when you are taking the notes from other people's, from other sources, reliable sources, you have to synthesize impartially. You have to independently. You have to synthesize. You don't have to say, okay, Ahmad is my teacher, so I have to synthesize from his book or from his research paper. I choose his research paper as original because he's my teacher. He's my this or he's my that. Here you follow the relationship. You shouldn't do all of them. Your research paper should be independent from any kind of favoritisms, partiality, or economical incentives or any political issues. It should be independent from any of these things. So if it is not independent, we cannot call it a research paper. So you have to focus a lot on this stuff. So, dear students, I hope you understood on the paper. The full form is research paper. It's most commonly known as a paper. People call it paper. So the other we have is a monograph. Most of the time, students mispronounce this word. They say monograph, which is pronounced monograph, which is monograph. The correct pronunciation of this word is monograph. However, if you pronounce it monograph, that's not a big deal. You can do it. This is not something that you have to focus much on it. However, if you pronounce it correctly, this will increase your reliability. So what's monograph? Monograph are usually separate publications that mainly discuss one topic, often written by one person. So monograph, we say that it's a detailed written study of a single specialized subject or an aspect of it. So it's a detailed written study of a single specialized subject or an aspect of the subject. It's written by one person on about one topic, or can be an aspect of the topic. So, like we say, a written monograph can be fully detailed, which is written by one person. Remember, monographs are mostly written by one person. Not mostly, but always written by one person. So 2 or 3 people do not have the right to write collectively the monograph. It should be written by one person, and it's written to claim your bachelor degree from the universities. It's not written for the masters or for PhD or the other degrees. Most often it's written for the colleges and universities to claim your bachelor degree. So this is what we say. Still, it depends upon the universities where you study. It depends upon the university's requirement. So the term monographia, the term monograph, it comes from the word monographia, is derived from the Greek mono. Mono means single, and grapho to write. So meaning writing a single subject. As I said here while I was explaining this stuff, that monograph is a writing on a single subject. It should be written on a single subject or an aspect of a subject. It should not be here and there. It shouldn't be like it's different in report and thesis or dissertation or research paper. It's different than that. It's written on one single topic or the aspect of a topic. So the writer is one person. The focus is on one thing. So it's published by one person. So it's written by one person, published by one person, approved by one person. So most often it's like in more cases it's written by one person. So like I wrote monograph to claim my bachelor degree. It was about BCCI. So it was like we just studied there for 2 months as an internship, and then we wrote monograph, what we did, what were our suggestions and recommendations for that organizations, and how did we go there, how was it, what were the gaps that were available there, so and so on. The students, this was about a monograph. One of the students asked me a question. I'll explain this later, but we'll move on to the dissertation, inshallah, in next class. I hope you understood, dear students. Something was missing here in previous class. Let me just come back to that. One of the students asked me about these things, and I didn't explain that. However, we will explain this in later, but I'll just give you a quick information about this. A simple thing. A literature review means the students how much study is available there. I mean, how many people have studied this, and how much data is available on the topic that you just do. Case study, you are given a case. For example, a company lost a business, a company went bankrupt, or a company went to insolvency. So you talk about that, and then your discussion with references in simple words. Reference means where you copied the data from. Okay, that's references. And appendices means that appendices we can say that contains supplementary material that is not an essential part of the text itself, but which may be helpful in providing more comprehensive understanding of the research problem or it is information that is too broad to be included in the body of the paper, like we just put it at the end of the data itself. And so still their students will study this inshallah while we are studying the dissertation. Here in dissertation we will study inshallah. Again they will come here, you can see this literature review, and as well as we say that case study finding and discussions. We'll study this there inshallah, don't worry. Okay dear student, this was our today's topic. In this topic we only discussed two things. The one thing was about research paper, and I hope you understood. The other thing was about the monograph. So the difference between monograph and thesis is that most often monograph is written to claim your bachelor degree, and thesis is written to claim your master degree. So this is the main difference. Still, it depends upon the university. Some universities they call it thesis, the monograph thesis, they require thesis. So it depends upon the requirement of the university. Okay, the students, have a good time and stay safe with your family members. I hope you're all doing well again, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep you safe and sound. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect you. If you have any questions and suggestions regarding today's lesson, you guys are most welcome to put your question forward, especially in the if you want that. Stay safe and stay happy, dear students.